All right, everyone. This is Mr. Alex, and we are going to start part one of our two-part tutorial on creating a Star Wars themed Asteroids game based out of Gamesalad, the format that we're going to be learning from this semester. So let's get started by opening up Gamesalad. By chance, I have that open right here. And when we go up to File, New, we are brought up this dialog box. A little bit different from PC, but let's give it a new title. This is the Star Wars Asteroids game. The platform we're going to use, we want it to be published onto a web page. As opposed to a device. So what we want that to do, output as, is a Gamesalad arcade that is then formatted for HTML5. After doing that, you get this little text box about changing target resolution. Press OK. Description. It is a Star Wars themed asteroids type game. Instructions, just clear that out. We don't need that. And you'll notice here in our box we've got project info. Our second tab is scenes. Then we've got actors and tables. Before you get started, what you're going to want to do is download the media files that we will be using as actors, actor graphics, and actor audio files for this project. You will find the download link in the description below. It's a zip file, so go ahead and download that, put it onto your desktop, and you'll notice that I've already have done that. Let's start off with clicking the Actors tab in our dialog and opening our images folder that we've downloaded. I want you to select all those, should be about 11 files, and drag them into the Actors box. Okay. One thing we can do, which would help us out right away, you'll notice here that in the left-hand column it says All. And this is where we create tags. And tags are used in our to help us speed up by grouping and tagging certain file names so that we don't have to do them one by one. We don't have to identify them one by one during the programming process. So we're going to create tags, and all we need are two tags. The first one is called good. All the good actors in our programming, and then the second one, of course, if there's a good, there is a bad. So let's look at those, good and bad. Let's click on the All tab, which means all the actors are currently under that. And the only two that are good are, let's see, the bullet and the player. So let's drag those into the good column. And then pretty much everything else is going to be considered bad. The six asteroids, 4, 5, 6, the enemy bullet, and of course the enemy. And you'll notice out of all this, the star field will be neither good nor bad. So let's take all the asteroids, the bullet enemy, and the enemy. We're going to drag those into bad. So you'll see there are two good, two bad, and then there's one neutral in the star field, and all that equals to 11. Let's go to our first scene, our initial scene. Double click on that. And I am going to maximize our window space here. Um, on the left-hand side, again, very different from PC, but we've got an inspector in the left-hand column with two different areas. We could look at the game area and then also the scene area. And under games, we've got actors, attributes, and devices. Under scene, we've got attributes and layers. And then at the bottom, we've got our library of behaviors, our images, and our sounds. And actually, I'm glad we're here in the sounds area. Let's see if I can do this. By clicking the plus sign, we want to go to our desktop and go to that folder that we had the audio files in, and we're going to highlight all those. Click open, and it should bring those, actually bring up a prompt. Do we want to bring that up as music or as sound? We're going to bring that in as sound. Click apply to all first, then click import as sound, and it's going to bring all 6 files into our programming area. And we can even click the preview buttons, those little arrows, and when you do that, you can test out the sounds. Okay, the second thing we're going to do is go into this inspector area. For the scene, this whole scene, we're going to select wrap X and wrap Y. And what that's going to do is fold over the edges of our game scene. And what that means is if the asteroids or the spaceship, our main spaceship, goes off screen, what happens, it's going to wrap back around so that it doesn't get lost in those outer margins. So we want it to be able to come back into play into our game. So what we want is wrap X and wrap Y. Okay. What we're going to do is go into our library of images now. On the bottom left hand, let's click onto images, double click onto the player. Oops. Actually, if we go up here to the top, let me make sure this is right. If we go back to the top, let's back up. Inspector, game, and then we're going to double click on our X-Wing fighter player. We're going to select the size. And let's take these down a little bit. So if that's 25, we're going to divide this by 3. So then our width should be, let's see, 21.5. So 21.5 is our width. And our height is 25, and that looks pretty good. After we've done that, actually, let's go back, and we're going to go back and go into our main scene, initialize our scene, and in the library under images, we've got our star field. We want to drag that into the staging area. And you'll notice that, hey, that doesn't look too bad. So what we want to do, what we want to do is make sure that our graphics file fills up this area. So let's do that, and actually I think we can shrink it down just a little bit. What we want to do, if you notice, let me erase that. And in this black area, this is the area that we're going to see. So whatever part of the graphics that we can see within this frame, that's what we're going to see in our game. So again, we go back to Library on the left, Images, and grab this Starfield graphic. Whatever, again, is within these lines is what we're going to see in our game, and I'll show you exactly how we can preview that. Okay, I think that'll be good. It looks a little uneven now, but what I want is everything to be within those lines. And how do we know that? Is during our game, at any time, we could go up to the top and press the preview key, this preview button, and it will give us a real view of what our game looks like, whether to see it visually or to test any of the behaviors that we have programmed for the game. So let's press the preview button, and you will notice it looks a little weird. For some reason, our little Starfield is the Death Star is a little bit off. So we can click back just to go back, and let's see if we can see if that looks a little bit better. Press preview. That looks a little bit better. Let's try it one more time. Press back. And oh, that looks good enough. Okay, so let's press back. And we are going to start creating some attributes for our game. So on the left-hand side, in the inspector, top left column, we're going to go under attributes, and we're going to start adding a few things that are going to help us with programming in the game later on. So let's press the plus sign, and it's going to have this little thing that drops down. Pick an attribute type. We're going to press integer and select choose. We're going to rename this one score. So when we program this, this is going to show us the score. Let's press plus or add again, and then that's another integer. Select choose. We're going to rename this one lives, L-I-V-E-S, so that we only have 3 lives in this game, and that's going to help us count how many lives we have left. Press the add key. This also is an integer type attribute. Press choose. We're going to rename new attribute to say asteroid count. There we go. And then let's do one more. Let's press the add button, and this time we're going to select a Boolean attribute. Select choose. We're going to rename this one to say player dead. Player dead. Okay, press enter. And those are all in there. Okay. Let's go back to our actors. If we double click that, looks good. We're going to go back. Let's drag him onto our stage area. Oops, it's resizing itself. Let me undo that. I don't know why that does that. So we want to select our X-Wing fighter, and we're going to move him. I'm going to drag him back again. Okay. I'm just going to plop him right there. There we go. Looks good. I think the size in relation to the game area of the game area looks pretty good. We have it that small so that when we start programming in the asteroids in the second part of the game, They are going to be of a good size and give the feeling of those being the asteroids being a little bit more menacing in comparison to the X-wing fighter. So once we do that, we're going to start creating some behaviors and start creating some program a couple of lines so that we have control of our X-wing. So what we want to do, let's go back here and okay. So what we've got is our actor here, the player, the X-wing. We're going to double click on that. And what we want is our X-wing to have some behaviors or react or act in certain ways when we press down the arrow keys. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create a rule. See here on the right hand side, create rule, press that button. And this rule we're going to rename rotate. Rotate right. Enter. And then let's read through this. When all the conditions are valid, actor receives an event, and what we want the event to be is a key pressing. So we select key, and we highlight here in the keyboard. And what that's asking us is to either press a key. When we highlight the cursor inside there, we can press the key that we want to have control our ship. In this instance, it's going to be the right arrow key on the keyboard. Once I press it, you'll see the word, oops. Come on, you. Okay, let's do it this way. We press the keyboard button, and then we want the right arrow button to be signified in there. When the right keyboard key is pressed down, the behavior we want, if you look over here in the library, the behavior we want is a rotation. So rotate, B for behavior, rotate, we're going to drag into this gray area. And when we rotate right, that's actually clockwise. And let's do it at a speed of 100. So we're going to want our ship to rotate right in a clockwise direction at a speed of 100 when the right arrow key is pressed down. How do we check this? Again, let's press the preview key. We'll notice our background is there. The ship is in there. And if I press the right key button, that means our ship should start rotating to the right. Let's try it out. Hey, looks good. Rotates right. Doesn't rotate left yet, so let's just press the back button. And excellent. I'm going to minimize this. Let's program the second rule of it to rotate left. Create rule. We're going to rename this to say rotate left. And we're going to do the same thing, but this time with the left button, arrow key. When actor receives event, not a mouse button, but the key being pressed. Let's press keyboard, and let's press left. When this condition of the key, left hand key, or left arrow key, is pressed down, we want it to, again, rotate. Let's pull that off from the side. And that going left is a counterclockwise rotation. We're going to have that at a speed of 100. So let's press preview. We can turn right if we press the right arrow key. Let's see if it works going left. Fantastic. Right, left. So we've got right, we've got left, and we should have one moving forward. So let's say thrust forward. We're renaming this rule. Actor receives event of a key being pressed, and the key to be moving forward is up. Okay, so when the up arrow key is pressed down, we don't want rotation on our ship, but actually, let's see, if we scroll up here in the behaviors towards the top, you see the behavior of acceleration. So let's accelerate. And the first variable we need to put a number into is direction. And whenever they talk about direction, it's in the form of degrees. And what degree do we need to put in there? It's actually 90 degrees. The way you know that is that, like on a clock, the clock has numbers. 12 goes straight up. 1, 2, 3. Number 3 goes to the right. Number 6 to the left. And number 9, or 6 going down, 9 to the left. And so what that means is number 9 is actually 0 degrees. If we go up at 12, that's going to be 90 degrees. If you go to 3 o'clock, that is 180. If you go to 6, that's 270. And back to 9 o'clock, and that is 0. So we want this to go in a direction of 90 degrees or straight up. And another way you can actually change it is by grabbing and rotating this around. You'll see that. And we want it to be 90. We can also input it manually, 90. There we go. 90 degrees relative to the actor at an acceleration of 100. Okay, let's minimize this and preview. Turns right, turns left, and it moves forward. Fantastic. And you see how the wrap X and wrap Y, what that did. So you see it flying off the screen, but then it comes back around, so we don't actually lose our spaceship. And once you get this game started, you can also press the reset button here up at the top. Let's go back. Not only do we want it to thrust forward, let's see if we can get this in here. We want it to play a sound, so let's play action, play a sound. We're going to drag that into here because this is all while it's thrusting forward. We want thrust short under sound, and then we want that to loop. Okay, so preview. Oops, looks a little odd. Preview. If we thrust forward, we should be able to hear the sound effect. Very nice. I've got the subwoofers on and it's pretty loud, so I'll try to keep that down. Okay, if we go back. And then actually one of the other things we want to have happen is when it moves forward, we want it to have a little bit of engine fire coming out the back. And to create that effect, what we use are let's see. Oh, here it is, particles. Okay, we want particles to be created. The number of particles, let's leave that 20. Particle startup time at 1 second. Particle lifetime, 0.5 seconds. Velocity, so 20, 1, and 0.5. velocity and position. The emitter offset, that's all going to be 0 for those two. The direction is, remember, we want this to be 90 degrees going out the front, going out to the right, that's 180 degrees. And if we wanted engine fire to look like it's going out the back, that must be 270 degrees. So let's change that, 270, relative to the actor. And that is at a speed of 200. Okay. The size, we want to keep it, I think I said 4. Keep it at size 4. And the size is going to change as it's after being emitted. And the target size is going to be 1. It's going to shrink down in size. And that's over 0.75 seconds. The color we want is a nice fiery red. Let's click on a red. Okay. And we want an opacity of about 50. The reason being is because we're going to have it mixed with another color. In just a second, I'm going to show you. The rotation that we want on this is 45 degrees. Okay. So I'm going to keep that open because I want to add another particles behavior into here. So let's, off of the side, under the library behaviors, we're going to drag in the behavior of particles. Okay, we want it to look pretty much the same as the first set of particles. 20. Particle startup time is going to be 1. Particle lifetime of, let's make this one actually 0.75. It gives it a little bit of variety. We want the emitter offset to be 0. Direction of 270. And at a speed of 200. The size will be the same also. We have the size of 4. It's going to change over time. And let's do that pull down. Size changes to the target size of 1 in the duration of half a second. We change the color of the second set of particles. This time we wanted a nice lemony yellow. Let's do lemon yellow. And this too is going to be at half opacity. Okay. Ooh, and actually, color does not change, but the blending actually on both of these is going to be additive. What that means is when one particle of red crosses over a particle of yellow, they're going to change into orange. So that adds a third color when they interact with each other. And you know that fire is actually translucent, transparent, and that the colors begin mixing when they cross and overlap each other. So we have that. We're going to press the preview button to see if that works. Press the preview button. We're going to go forward. Oh, very nice. And all that does is just add a little bit of effect to our game to show that, hey, there's a lot of power and thrust in our X-Wing. So that looks pretty cool. Let's go back a little bit and let's minimize these, get them out of the way. And what we're going to do is go home, and we want to go to the actors. Let's double click on that bullet, and the bullet we're going to give some qualities to right now. Let's make sure that the size here on the left is 6 by 6. And let's see. Do, 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 do. Here we go. We want this bullet to move in a forward direction, so we're dragging this over. Okay. We're going to drag the move behavior, and this is going to have a direction. Remember, it's going to go 90 degrees in relation to the actor, so 90 degrees, which in relation to the X-Wing graphic that we have, it's going to go out the front at a speed of 300. And then the thing is that this bullet can only last for so long. Once it's emitted shots, it's going to lose energy, and it's not going to travel infinitely. To keep the bullet from lasting forever, we are going to use a timer on here. So we grab the timer from the left-hand library and then change this pull down after 0.5 seconds. And that's that. Actually, that's not that. And I want to go into our library over here. We want our actor to be destroyed. So the destroy behavior is nested within the timer. And we've got our move rule also for this bullet. And let's go back home to our player X-Wing graphic. We're going to add one more thing so that when we create the rule, and this is going to be a key initiation, so let's select key, and when we do the space bar, when the space bar is pressed down, we want, number one, a play sound. We want a sound to play. The sound we want is player shot. The other thing we're going to want, if you go to the left, is the action of spawning an actor. And this one should say bullet in the direction of 90 degrees. Oh no, you know what? We don't need to put that in because we did that already for the bullet. And I think that's that. So if we go up to the top, actually, one of the things we should always do is save the progress of our work. So if we press save, we want to save this. Let's save this within the folder that we had all our graphics. So if we're at the desktop, the NJHE Star Wars Asteroids, we're going to say Star Wars Asteroids game. Okay, so press save. All right, it's saved. We want this rule to say shoot. Okay, let's minimize that. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to press save, and let's preview that. Okay, so far we've put the background onto the stage. We brought our X-Wing onto the stage, and it's got a number of actions that it works with. It rotates right, it rotates left, it moves forward, and we created some fire to come out of our ship. We also initiated a sound when it moves forward, when the up arrow key is pressed. And then also, let's reset the game. And then when we press the space bar, bullets are flying. And we can do that all at the same time. If we wanted to. Guys, I just wanted to let you know, great job. I look forward to meeting with you all on Monday to continue and start part 2 of this project, and hopefully we can finish it up sometime next week. So look forward to seeing you guys again soon, and hope you have a great day.